On that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to a new episode of Wilder Minds.
Yeah, that's one way to start it.
I can't crack one. I'm on some antibiotics, so I can't have a Busch Latte.
Oh, that's no good.
No, you guys can.
You got give a crack. Here we go.
There it is.
Well, I can get it done.
Oh, I got the diver going on.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Got the old gut rot.
The old Luganus.
They want to take like 4 feet of the old intestines out, but I don't know that I'm that brave.
It's tough sledding there.
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll rear its ugly head when we're 400 miles into the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
Probably.
Well, that's no good.
God, sorry, I'm still thinking about Native American Eddie Vedder.
Hey, so you got to see that guy.
So let's get back to your algorithm. It's tricks, though.
Yeah. The algorithms, well, there's a couple I won't talk about, but one of them is the tricks.
Yeah.
The one.
How do I get into that algorithm? I
don't know.
Find a way in because I'm not in. I don't.
You gotta watch a couple of them. Gotta watch a couple.
And now I see them from all different countries now.
Yeah.
I got Mexico. I got Japan. I've got India. I've got the United States. Farts are funny. You know me. I love the sound of a fart.
Yep.
It makes me laugh. And there's a fart guy. His last name's Vale. I can't remember his first name. But he goes around and he's got this fart, and he sells it. So he does all of these fart tricks. And he's walking down aisles, and he leans over, and his butt is literally 2 inches from someone's face, and he does the fart, and they get surprised, and most of them are pissed. And he holds it under his armpit, and it sounds just like a fart. And he sells it. I can't remember what the pooter, I think it's called. Pretty sure it's called the pooter. And he sells it on his website.
Oh God,
it's funny though. The guy's got a couple million.
Imagine being that guy and like you sit down. Maybe you're doing like a business consultation, or you're going to like sit with your accountant for taxes, and they're like, "So, what is your business?" And he's like, "Well, I'm the fart guy." It's like, what?
Sold 2 million pooters last year.
2 million pooters.
I sell fake farts.
That's something you'd find at Spencer's. Remember Spencer's?
Yeah.
Like you'd go into Spencer's and be like, all right, I got to find like a gag gift. Or you were going to like a bachelorette party or bachelor party or whatever. You'd be like, we got to go Spencer's.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and there was like lava lamps, 9-foot Dave Matthews posters.
Grateful Dead flags.
Yeah, Grateful Dead flags and
Pearl
a fart
Jam
machine.
t-shirts,
and you're like,
fart machines.
What a store. Right?
Have you went in lately?
No.
They still have it.
I
They
took
got one
Weston
here.
in there. I'm like, let's go to Spencer's. It turned into basically a pornographic store.
Is it really?
It is like, it's nasty.
Like you got to shower when you leave.
And it smelled like weed everywhere in there. And it was interesting.
The one that gets me in the mall is the sword shop, like the Panda sword shop or whatever. Like, how many swords can you sell in a day to get a space in the mall to be like?
The only one I have, I got Randy
swords.
Jackson's autograph on.
Yeah, well, you're not going to not get Randy Jackson's autograph.
That's true.
So I don't get that though. Like, there's a literal store that just has swords.
Well, where else are you going to buy swords?
I guess. I mean, but like in Midland, Michigan, in a mall, like not online. No one sells swords online. I got to go to the sword shop.
You want to test it out, see how it cuts through the air?
Yeah, I
Check
guess.
the weight, see how, you know what I mean?
Balance?
Yeah, see how it is.
I guess.
They got like katanas, and they got all kinds of shit in there.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I want to get back to this algorithm for a minute now that we've derailed this 11 seconds in.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the algorithm on this old turkey video that we just got?
Both of them.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Unreal.
Hitting a million.
Yeah.
Hitting a milli.
For a couple of good, solid turkey shots.
Well, it was a combination of 14 or 15 years of headshots for turkeys.
Yeah.
It is funny that to look at that video and I'm like, we have slaughtered some birds. Like we have killed some birds. But I was trying to remember every one.
Me too, yeah.
I was like, which one was that? Which one was that? And I was like, man, there's a lot of birds.
Here's the part that I think is crazy about the algorithm. Have you seen the people fighting in the comments?
Oh, yeah.
In different languages they're fighting.
It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
They're fighting in like German and Japanese, and they're just in there hating it.
Yeah.
Like I saw one guy was like, does this hurt the birds? I'm like,
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it does because she's pretty quick and clean if you ask me.
Yeah,
but
it's dome pieces in 3 parts. Yeah, it hurts the birds.
Yeah.
It does.
Beak meat,
Yeah.
gone. And also, people are very passionate about turkeys.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if maybe because they don't have them over there.
I don't think they do have them. I don't know that. I know they have them in South America, South and Mexico and stuff.
Yeah.
But the wild turkey is pretty North American.
Yeah. Like the guys that are yelling in German. Like, you guys got turkeys in Germany? If you do,
Yeah.
Maybe we come over and do a little
Well, Jason Hart
German
would have
turkey
hunted
hunt.
them by now.
Yeah, let
if
me
they're
know.
over there.
Let me know if
so-
they're over there. Well, one guy I did see, he's like, is this Australia? Like, no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
it's not.
one of the biggest surprises to me is when I first got to New Zealand back in the day when I went there. I got there and there was an Eastern turkey. And I'm like, what in the hell? And this turkey's sitting on a fence post.
Yeah.
And the outfit that I was with, I'm like, that looks like an Eastern turkey. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, come on, we'll go up to him. I'm like,
Go up
go up to him. I'm like, is he tame? He's like, nah, they're just stupid. I'm like, okay. So we walk up. We walked up to this bird, and I shit you not, in about 4 seconds, he reached up and he fucking grabbed that bird by the neck and had a hold of it. And I'm like, what is happening? And that bird just started spurring like crazy.
Oh, God.
And he dropped him, and the bird took off and flew away. He's like, those fucking things are so stupid. They're everywhere around here.
They have them there?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Huh.
It was
That's
unreal.
insane.
Next year.
Obviously,
Let's go.
somebody snuck a little turkey into the
And then the breedsman
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, and then the breedsman.
As soon as you did the Kiwi accent,
Yeah, I know where you're going.
there's
a little bit of the puff.
no way
the arm
that I'm
story.
going to let that slide without talking about the puff when we went to New Zealand. And it became a thing for us the entire time we were there. I mean, I never laughed so hard in my life on a trip. We were picking up the raft.
Yeah.
And we flew a helicopter.
This was season 5.
Yeah, season
Five.
5.
Somewhere in
We were
there.
in, somewhere in there.
They're all.
Yeah, New Zealand.
We're in New Zealand. We take a helicopter, like taxis over there. We land on the highway, and this guy meets us, and he's like, we have to get these rafts to go land up at this river. And we go in there, and the man's hand, like, to paint a picture of this man's hand, it was limp wristed.
Yeah.
His arm was this big around,
Yep.
but yet
Popeye.
he was not complaining or saying a word about it.
No, it was purple.
Purple.
I mean, it was like bad Frankenstein movie purple. Like,
Yeah.
you looked at it, you're like, God damn.
And we asked him, like, dude, is your hand like broken? And he tells us that he was playing football, or rugby.
Rugby.
He was playing rugby. And he's like, yeah, we had a rugby match. We did that. And then he picks up his hand, and what did he say?
He just goes, he's like, I don't know if it's broken, but it got a wee little bit of the puff. His hand had 18 pounds of fucking fluid in it. It did not have a wee little bit of the puff. It was full of fluid.
Fractured.
But he just that quick. He's like, hey, I got a wee little bit of the puff. And then he went about his business. And we lost it.
That was it.
We absolutely
I mean,
lost it.
Casey and I were buckled over, and we're like, that's not puff. Like, it's a broken forearm. And
Yeah.
he was like, nah. And he loaded that raft.
Yep.
He did. He loaded it up. We put it in the helicopter. We flew away. And just anytime someone was in like trouble, like we're like 20 some days in, we're sleeping in this raft, and like Casey would just come out with, yeah, but you could have a wee bit of a puff, and then all of a sudden we just lose it again. That became a theme for the whole trip, and to this day still is.
I think we actually did an over-under on whether he was a one-armed man when we got out or not. Like, we're all like, all right, moment of truth, here he comes.
Yeah.
He came out. He had a full like sling set up going like a month later. So obviously
yeah.
it was more than the puff.
It was
healing.
100% broken. He was all slinged up, hard cast, everything, and it was like, oh, that was a little more than the puff, huh?
But that embodies like your typical Kiwi. Like, happiest guy on earth. Just like,
It'll be fine.
Yeah, this is great. Nothing wrong here. Like, yeah, just a little setback, you know? Man, that guy was unreal.
It was. We
Talking
did a puff.
about different turkeys in different locations and different lands. It was 8 years ago today that we were in South Dakota. Remember that trip?
That was my first time in South Dakota turkey hunting, and yeah, it works.
Yeah,
It works.
It was one of those trips that kind of snuck up on us quick. It was season 1 or 2 of Winchester Life, and we went out there, and yeah, I'd never hunted South Dakota, never hunted the Merriams before, so I was super pumped. We all were.
Yeah.
And we get out there, and they were in big groups, and they were probably in 40 or 50 bird groups at the time. It was still a little early.
We
I
bought
think.
an aggressive amount of tags, too.
We each had, I think, 4
Yeah.
for the units that
did we end up killing 14 turkeys? Like between us and then Mike.
I know we filled
It
the
was
entire
11
back
or
end of
12.
an SUV.
11 or 12, 'cause I
we
know
killed
there was other
7,
hunters.
and then he killed 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy how the tags work over there for different units.
Yeah.
And there, I mean,
It might have
obviously-
changed now, but I know.
Yeah,
back
it might
then
have
that's
changed
what
a
it
little
was.
bit.
We literally filled the back of an SUV with birds. Oh, yeah. Like, we couldn't fit anything out. We're like, how do we get our shit in here?
Yeah.
I remember saying that. You know what it is, though? It's all in the process.
Oh,
The process. You remember the process?
In the process?
It's all in the process.
Yeah.
The guy that we were hunting his ground. I
In
can't
the
remember
process.
his name. Great guy. Super nice guy. Great ground, too. Some of the river bottom
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah, it was
I
great.
mean, it was phenomenal.
Just beautiful.
Setup. But he said in the process, every fourth word.
Dave or Dan?
Dale? I want to say Dale. I don't want to say
Could've been
Dale for
Dale
some
and-
reason.
it's in the process.
We were talking
Yeah.
about, he's like, yeah, I saw some birds in the process, and they were down in the river bottoms in the process, and where they roost there on that right side up in the process, and then you guys can get in those bushes in the process.
It was a conjunction for him. It wasn't like,
was.
it wasn't, he didn't say,
Yeah.
it was in the process.
Yeah, it was all in the process. It was fascinating.
The first conversation we had, we all were standing there going like, "Is he joking with us?"
Yeah.
And then it became
a nervous tick.
Our thing behind him of like, how many times is he gonna say in the process, and then
Yeah.
he'd do it, and then we were egging him on, like we'd like get
you
him to
think
say.
in the process I could go down there and be like, absolutely, in the process, you just get down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when we were saying it to him and he wasn't blinking, and then we were like, okay, let's see how many times we can say in the process. And it was like a Super Troopers moment. Like
Yeah.
we were like, okay,
Meow.
whoever gets in the most in the processes wins. And we tried, oh my God, that guy in the process.
Sir, you sound like a cat.
Yeah.
Do I look like a cat to you, boy?
Meow.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. God, that guy was great, though.
He was awesome.
He was a good dude.
Yep.
Knew his shit with
Tons of
those
ground.
Yeah, the ground and everything.
It was different hunting over there because you'd have these big bluffs and you could use a lot of the terrain to your advantage.
Yeah.
There. And I remember you killed your bird first, didn't you, Chris?
I can't remember.
It was
now.
wasn't that wet? Do more like it was wet.
I thought we killed the first one at the gate. And did we double up at the gate? And I think someone was at the gate, and they were like pretty far out because we weren't sure yet.
Yeah.
And then we realized like
They're very callable, very
very
maneuverable,
workable. And then we were like,
very
this is
vocal.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got into it. But like we shot one, it was like a little further out.
Yep.
We were kind of hiding behind a hay bale scenario. We
Yeah,
shot
yeah.
one out there, and then like afterwards, they didn't do what Easterns did. They all of a sudden they kind of turned and started, and we're like, wait a second. And then we realized how workable they were,
Yeah.
and then it was game on. Then they were at 3 feet.
I will say probably one of the coolest things is how vocal. I mean, I remember sitting there in the morning while they're still on the roost, and we get birds that gobble on the roost here.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we get into it pretty good, but
Yeah.
nothing like that.
Nothing like
it was
that.
just, I mean, it was like never silence. It was just nonstop, just birds cutting, and gobbling. It was just
And the
wild.
pitch is a little higher than the Eastern. It's not as throaty. It's a little higher pitched. It's a different sound. But man,
Well, it was
they were-
cool
they were
seeing
fun.
them in those cottonwoods too, like on the bottoms, like that picturesque.
night.
That one night, like
sat
you
and
see them
roosted
all, and they roosted, and they were in those big cottonwoods, and I mean, there was a lot of
60 birds
Yeah,
in like 4 cottonwoods.
I remember we had that one big group of, it was jakes and hens, and I was like, I was on all fours, like setting the decoy up when they popped over.
Yeah.
And I just stayed there on all fours looking at them, and they walked a right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think we
we
actually
got
have a
video of
picture
that.
of the
Yeah, we
video.
had- we took
They
a
walked like right
screenshot.
out and around, and that's the moment when we were like, oh, we could sneak up on these guys.
Yeah.
You know, we could actually make this happen, and then we snuck up on
Yeah.
Yeah.
a bunch of birds. But
yeah.
that
We
was
were
cool.
out there with Mike Pisalia. He's coming in actually in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
to do. He sent me pictures. He's already got 4 toms down out there, and
in his vineyard?
He's guiding. He was up in the mountains up by San Francisco. He's got one of the walnut walkers. You know him. He's obsessed, and so. He's coming here for the second leg of his tour, so he'll be here for the 989 season. That's a promise.
There's guys in this world that you just like being in the field with.
Oh,
He's one of them.
Everything's fun.
He's the best.
If it's this fun to begin with,
Yeah.
it's this fun
Yeah.
when he's there.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And he's
He
a
is
serious hunter, but but he has fun along the way.
Yep.
Well,
and that's what I love about him.
He has killed some serious shit.
he's
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 almost-
one animal away from North
yeah.
American 29, and he didn't shoot the Shiras moose because he could have. just to get the 29, but that's not, he didn't want to do that. Like he could have shot a small moose and been like, nah, I have this. He was like, nah, I'm good. Like I was here, I saw one, I didn't see a big one, I didn't shoot it. Yep. But he's a grizzly away right now from a North American 29. So it'd be great to have him in here.
When's he coming?
He's coming May 12th. So
I'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be here for a week. So he'll be here for a week, and we're staying out at the lodge, and he's all excited. He's bringing Ange with him too, so it'll be fun.
Well, maybe that by that point our turkeys' throats will be unfrozen.
I know.
It's just
this weather.
I mean, it's unreal.
And they're not even in the field like we usually, about this time of year, they're everywhere, strutting in the fields. I haven't seen a lot of them yet. It's cold.
Today, on my way here, is the first time I saw them strutting out. And like, there's one field that's just starting to turn green. On like between here and my place, and there was like 4 toms in there strutting with a couple hens.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's weird because I don't know. I guess I don't know if they do this. I feel like this is what they did because I keep track year over year on my property. I've been there for 9 years now. Keep track of kind of when the birds show up and when they disappear. Well, I always get a push of birds early, and it's usually just a bunch of toms.
Yep.
So I got that push of birds. They showed up. It was, I mean, for a couple days straight, I had 26 between toms, jakes, and 2-year-old, 3-year-old birds. Had 26 for a couple days, and then it did what it always does. It slimmed out, and it went to 3, and then they left, and now they're back in a group of like 60.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's because we kind of got warm for a hot stretch there, and then it was like right back down in the tank, and it got cold again. But if anybody knows, or you guys might know, like, do they break up and then go back into the big giant groups if it gets cold?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Neither do I. But that's what it seems like they did to me, because my place is a ghost town right now.
Yeah.
So the ranch is similar out there at the farm. That's very similar. Like early, like I was out there on Saturday, there was 18 birds in the field. Yeah. Which usually this time it's the 2 toms or 3 that have made the home there, and a couple
they claim it,
and it's the same thing. But they're still right now. They were out in that back field of center stage. They were all strutting out there, and there was birds, and there was a lot of young birds, a lot of jakes, which I was super excited.
There were last year too. You remember?
Yeah,
that?
there was
like
a lot of
10.
jakes, and now it feels like they've transitioned. We've got, I think I counted 8 or 9 toms.
Yeah,
and then I think the rest were jake. I mean, there was a lot of jakes, which was good to see, but they're also a pain in the ass, and when you're trying to compete. Yeah. Not as much early season, but the late season they're brutal. So, but so they're out there, they're ready to rock and roll. And I sent you guys that reveal. We got the cell cam out there, and I got the picture from Sanders, and he's like, "Oh, birds are strutting," and they're right in front of the camera, and there's 6 in that picture. So there's birds.
I'm gonna rock a 410 this year.
Are you? Yep. Good.
28 gauge. I want to take the 28 out.
Yeah. I got TSS and 410. I dropped a Leopold red dot on the top.
Yep.
I'm gonna give it a whirl, see how it goes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I've been saying I'm gonna do it for the last like 2 years. I just haven't done it, but now I got 410 TSS. Like, okay.
That Longbeard TSS last year when we did that camp. The pattern board. Between a 12 and a 410, I mean, we were shooting that 410 was 30, 40 yards out.
30 yards, there was, I think, 40 in the kill, in the head.
Yeah.
Which is obviously based on what we just put out.
Well,
we like to shoot them.
Yeah.
You're shooting 9-shot, which you can fit more in a 410 shell now. Yep. And then it's twice as heavy as lead. Mm-hmm. So, and heavier than bismuth. So, I mean, it's just one of those, everything. The sub-gauge game is what that's kind of built for.
Yep.
But I'm not going to lie. I might still roll 12-gauge TSS and just see what happens.
80 yards, done.
Shoot him in Michigan and he lands in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll roll him.
So 3 days is the opener for Michigan here.
Yeah.
So while this podcast is airing, it'll be the first week of the Michigan season.
Yeah.
And usually we have our 989 Gobbler Club permissions party, which it's been a little silent. We haven't had one. Well, we had one, a soft launch last year.
Yeah.
We need to have one this year. I've been talking to the deacon. Try and get things lined up. But I did come into this. So there's all the awards. So we had all the awards. And I had to run through for the Fallujah Cup.
Yeah.
And these are all the awards we give out at the 989 Gobbler Club. So
this real quick, the 989 started. 989's our area code.
Yes.
And it started years ago, but off of an incredible morning hunt.
Yep.
And the morning the field bled, and
Yep.
we called it Fallujah.
Yep.
And it started, and then we had a lot of guys that were in it. And since we've had, guys have moved off.
Yeah.
But they're still considered honorary members of
Yep.
the 989. Lee, Adam, those guys are out there. Like they know who they are. But since the group has dwindled down, and then it's like now we're trying to kind of figure out what the next
we've got the
stage
kids
is,
now.
because now
So
the
we got
kids
all the
are all
kids.
coming in,
Yep.
and so they're part of the 989. And so every year we have the Fallujah Cup, and we
Moth.
the Moth, I'm sorry. And we give away awards. And so that's just kind of set this up for, if you're listening,
Yeah.
that's what this is.
So we've got awards, and we
Yeah.
have this big party. And in the past, we've ran some segments on our YouTube channel. You'll see kind of the 989 Gobbler Club. So the first off this is the award you don't want to get.
Oh, boy.
This is the Wooden Gun Award.
Yeah, the wooden gun.
And the Wooden Gun Award was built off of the movie
The other guys.
The Other Guys.
Yeah.
Yep. And when Will Ferrell's part, he did the office pop.
Yeah.
And they talked him into the office pop. Well, they gave him the wooden gun for like the next, half hour of the show or whatever. So the worst turkey hunter of the year wins the Wooden Gun Award. And you don't want to win it.
Yeah.
It's because you have to carry the wooden gun.
Yes.
And this is the stipulation. You have to carry the wooden gun in the field with you
Yep.
the whole year.
Yeah.
And you are last on the list to get guided,
Yes.
because we have a group and we go, and whoever wants to jump in. If you win the Wooden Gun Award the previous year, you are the last on the list. Now, you can go out by yourself and kill a bird.
Yeah.
But you are last on the list. Everyone's in front of you to shoot a bird. And you got to do some pretty stupid stuff.
You got to mess up.
You got to mess up bad. And the Wooden Gun Award doesn't get given away every year.
No.
It's
Multiple
only
misses will get you there.
Yeah.
Yep, multiple misses will get you there. Sleeping in multiple times and leaving people hanging, that'll get you
that'll
there.
get you there fast.
Not pushing record on a kill shot, that'll get you there.
Forgetting decoy stakes.
Forgetting
There's-
decoy stakes.
There's
Yep.
many things that'll get you the
Many
wooden gun.
things. Usually, though, I don't think we've given it away since 2021 or 2020.
Yeah.
And it's I actually, the guy who won it gave it back to me. He's like, here. In this wooden gun,
He hasn't hunted since.
It's my father-in-law's who's passed away, but he never hunted, he never fished. He had one gun, and it was like an air gun. It was like one of those fake air guns you get when, like in the 1940s when you're a little guy, and it had like a Boy Scout like sticker on it. Well, that's what the wooden gun is. So he gave it back, and it's in my house now. So the next one is the Cal Ripken Award. Now, the Cal Ripken Award goes to the most turkey hunts of the year. So this is the guy that is on the most, whether you're running the camera, whether you're guiding, whether
just going.
You're just going. Every morning you're up and at it. And so the Cal Ripken Award is a pretty prestigious award, and that goes to the hardest worker.
Yeah, you're committed.
Yeah.
Committed to the cause.
The Cuz Strickland Award. And now that is to the most filmed kills. So if you're on the camera, we don't overlook you. If you've hit record on the most kills of the year, you get the Cuz Strickland Award.
Yeah.
And that's another prestigious award.
I was talking to Cuz the other day through text.
Yeah.
And he wrote like, "Hang on, just struck one up hunting with the grandsons or something."
Yeah.
And I said, "You think he's coming?" He's like, "I'm not sure." I said, "Is this your first time? You need some tips?"
Yeah.
He wrote back, and I forget what he said after that. I was still enamored that I told him he needs some tips.
Yeah.
But, you
That
know,
guy,
God, talk
he's the
about it.
reason why turkey hunting and really filming hunts is really happened
Yeah.
in the video space. So
Oh, I know.
he's a legend. We all love him.
It's unreal.
He's the best. Working our way down here, Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
The Rookie of the Year awards for the beginning hunter, who it could be a young hunter, it could be somebody who just started, but has showed exemplary has showed out in the field.
Enthusiasm.
Yeah, unknown to mankind. And then the most prestigious award, the Moth.
The Moth.
The most outstanding turkey hunter. And this is what we have described as, to win the Moth, this is what you have to do. At the conclusion of each Michigan spring turkey season, the Fallujah Cup will be awarded to the hunter who exemplifies some, none, or a combination of characteristics such as true grit, field stealth, and maneuverability, box call chalking ability, scouting prowess, decoy deployment speed, roost hunt success percentage, poison ivy avoidance, and finally, the ability to generate permissions.
Yeah.
Voting is done by the founding 11 members of the 989 Gobbler Club. Members may not vote for themselves.
Yep.
So this is prestigious,
Yep.
and this happens every year. There's a vote,
Yep.
and we have a trophy that we'll show.
Yeah. We got a picture
that
of
we'll
it.
put it up right now, which is created. Fillmore and I built it,
And a necklace.
and the spur chain.
That's the
forget about the
coveted
spur chain.
The coveted spur chain.
The spur chain. So every year the spur chain. Now there's a spur chain that lives with it.
Yeah.
But every year the spur chain grows. And the winner of the moth gets the spur chain. And if you're not going to mount your bird, and if you don't have a special, if you don't need your spurs, we cut them off and we put them on a chain. And the moth gets the spur chain around his neck, and he gets to hoist.
Yep.
The
And
moth.
wear it in the field.
The moth, yep.
Yeah.
And it's a club. It's an elite club. You just can't get in.
Wait a minute. We forgot one.
What did we forget?
We forgot Fuck the Fan.
we did.
There is an
Did I miss
award
that?
called Fuck the Fan. And that award.
it's right there. I blew past
that award. You know, everybody's been in the turkey hunting scenario where the bird comes in and he's just
Head
full
on.
strut and he's head on.
Yeah.
And he's just doing his thing. And at some point, the patience wears out. And we've got a couple of guys. First off, I don't know if they have patience to begin with,
Yeah.
but we got a couple of guys in the club that it's just fuck the fan.
Yeah.
Woof. And
Blow
they
it
just
up.
blow
Light
them
'em.
up. And that's where the fuck the fan.
And
award
as
comes
it says the most destructive feathered explosion
in. Yes.
is what the Fuck the Fan award is.
That's the guidelines for
Yep.
it. So
Yep.
no, the 989, the awards, the permissions parties, the like everything we do there is all about getting people together and
Yep.
let's go have fun during turkey season.
Getting the kids involved.
And then the
everything.
youth, right? Getting the kids in, getting them to learn about turkey hunting, getting that mentor side going, and just being a part of it to hopefully have them carry it on. I mean, I know for me, riders every year, like 989 is one of the biggest.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Big
like
event.
It's like one of the biggest things. Like, man, when's the 989? When are we going to do moth? When are we doing this? So
Well, we can only shoot one bird in Michigan. So this is a way for us last year, like the last couple, we shot 27, close to 30 birds. And
Yeah.
you think about that, that's 30 hunts we're going on. And you shoot your bird, maybe 1 or 2 days into the season, depending on who's got tags. And then we hunt still every time together. It is a way to get together, and there's nothing better than the meetups in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, it's early and everybody's pulling in trucks, trying to figure everything out. Some people are hungover, some people are not. Some people
get hungover.
Some people start
throughout the day.
drinking and they're done, and they're just like
They're done.
they look back and there's a
Drink
guy
the
with a
Busch
camera, a
Lights.
guy with a
Yeah.
gun, and 2 guys with beers in their pockets just going along for the ride. Like at the end of the day, it's such a blast. And these next 6 weeks, because they extended it, it's all the way to June 2nd up
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
any of our southern friends want to come up and hunt, I'm telling you, that May time, that's a phenomenal time to hunt.
face rip.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
And I'll say this too, for the Winchester Life podcast, I got to sit down with Rob Keck.
Yeah.
And Rob Keck was the CEO at NWTF for 30 years. And in the late 70s, he was really instrumental in just the wild turkey explosion across the country. I mean, it is the most successful conservation story in the history of our country.
Yeah.
They were down to like 100 turkeys, and now there's like 8 million.
Yeah.
Michigan we really didn't have much for turkeys. But I asked him, and I said, I personally want to thank you because turkey hunting has meant so much for us and our families in Michigan and all, over the years, it's created some of the best memories we have. And I said, I want to personally thank you because I know you were instrumental in the Michigan population. And, he said, first we took birds from Pennsylvania that were pen raised and they didn't take. And then we combined, I believe, birds from Ontario and Missouri and implanted them, and then it exploded. Wild birds.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's a success story.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt. And Michigan's got some of the best turkey hunting around.
100%.
So when we talk about
Don't say nothing. Shh.
Wherever your adventure takes you, count on Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's to make it memorable. From the timberline to the campsites to the lake and the range, get your family outfitted with the right gear. With premium brands like Worldwide Sportsman, Ascend, Instinct, Redhead, and Natural Reflections, they've got the apparel and the gear to make it the best adventure ever. Stop by today for a one-of-a-kind shopping experience in-store or online at BassPro.com and Cabela's.com. See for yourself at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's stores. Your adventure starts here. All right, let's talk about beer for a second. You ever notice there's a big difference between Busch Light drinkers and other beer drinkers? I like to say we live on the wild side. You know, a guy with a Busch Light in his hand, he's a man of the people. He's out there in the wild every day. He's in the trenches smashing bushies with a smile on his face. You know why? Because he doesn't care. He's not looking for a soulmate. He just needs something to wash that damn jerky down. And he's got himself a 12-pack of Freedom in a can. And when that can gets cracked, it's like opening a door to a whole different world. It's just a vibe. And if you haven't felt it, you should. So go grab yourself a case of bushies, give them a rip, and take a walk on the wild side. You've got things that matter. Memories, heirlooms, documents, firearms. And we all know that life is unpredictable. At Winchester Safes, they make sure life's unpredictable moments don't take those things from you. They use state-of-the-art methods that refuse to sacrifice quality. They put everything they have into their products, offering proven protection and peace of mind. There's only one safe company worthy of the title, the American Legend, and that's Winchester Safes. Follow at Winchester Safes or learn more on winchestersafes.com. Let's talk about Mountain Ops, a brand that I rely on to fuel my fire in more ways than one. I could sit here and talk about how undeniably essential Ignite is to my daily life. I could explain the benefits of the Super Greens, and I could ponder out loud how they got those Super Greens and Super Reds for that matter to taste so damn good. Or I could just give you a quick look into who they are as a company, because to me that matters more than anything. So here it is. They recognize God and acknowledge His hand in all things. They believe in being worthy of others' trust. They're reliable and honest with their information. And lastly, they take full and personal responsibility for their actions and the outcomes. There you have it. If you want to learn more about Mountain Ops and stay connected, check them out on social media at Mountain Ops or head on over to their website, mountainops.com. And remember, if you want to save some cash, use code Keefer.
Talk about permissions. That's the other thing up here that I love is the permissions that means all of us have our connections and our farmers that we know and our land that we have and we come together and we talk about these permissions. It's writing it on the board, how many acres, where's it at? We're going through to see, and then we have to say like, okay, I have to be there. Like if you have the permission, sometimes you have to be the one. Other times you can say, nope, this guy doesn't care. We're good to go. I already cleared it. Another one is drop a case of Busch Light in the guy's fridge and he's good. And then you're good to go in. And I mean, there's so many different levels and we write down all the permissions and there's thousands of acres by the time we're all said and done. And every year it's about picking up new permissions so we can let some of the old permissions kind of settle. Cause some of these properties we put a hurting on. We're like, we got to let some of these go. And we have over the last couple of years.
Yeah. We had a place we called COVID Corner that we got permission on during COVID through a written note. And the gentleman got it in the mailbox, and it was just when it was wild, and some folks were very afraid of it. So we got permission through written letter that we could hunt the property. So we call it COVID Corner, and it was a banger.
Oh baby,
I think half a dozen the first year. The next year,
Cam's killed like how many?
At least 4
there. I mean, every year, like they just go and hammer.
The boys doubled up there. I had Big Al, Big Poppy, and I went out there and had that one bird at about 4 feet, shaking like a leaf. I mean, we've had some really good hunts out there.
I have the greatest permission story in the history of the world.
You got to tell
this. The Gangrene man.
Yes, you got to tell this.
This is the great. I have door knocked on thousands of doors looking whether it's whitetail permission on like in other states waterfowl, or turkey permission, waterfowl, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
This story, it'll be in the book. I'm writing a book. It'll be in the book. I'll try to give a condensed version of it, but we were driving around in a hotbed of an area.
Yeah.
I mean, a really, really good area. And I look out and I see this Tom, a mega. Like, you know, when you look at them and they're fan.
Megalodon.
Yeah. I mean, you're like, holy shit, look at the size of that fan.
The head, everything.
Yeah, giant bird. I had the big smooth with me.
Yeah.
And Deacon. And so
Deke.
I pull up the map, I pull up Onyx, and I look, and I'm like, all right, that house right there owns that field. And I'm like, I'm going to go knock on the door. So I go over and I knock on the door, and this lady answers the door in like a nursing outfit. And I'm like, hi. I'm like, are you the landowner? She's like, no. She's like, he's in here, though. And the guy's like, and you hear him in the background. He's like, who the hell's at my door? And she's like, oh, it's a guy here to talk to you. Oh, come on in, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, sweet. So I walk in. I immediately, now, here's how you know you're fucked. I walk in and I look up, and there is a 45-year-old full Tom mount flying like this up on the wall.
Yeah.
But there is so many cobwebs and so much dust on this thing. I'm like, well, maybe old timers hung it up. Maybe the spur chain is no more, right?
Yeah.
So I go around the thing. I walk up the stairs and I get into the kitchen. I was not prepared for this. I was like definitely shocked. I come around and this guy is sitting there in a chair. First of all, his house is an absolute shithole.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hoarder.
Yeah.
There's shit everywhere. He's sitting at his kitchen table, and he's got a bare foot up on the table like this at his kitchen table.
His barefoot.
His barefoot.
Yeah.
He's got it stuck up on the table. And I'm looking and I'm like, what's happening here? Like, something strange going on. Well, the nurse
Caught him in the middle of something.
The nurse, she's like, excuse me, and she walks by and she walks over to the guy, and then I focus in, like I rack focus from the man to the foot with my eyes, and I'm like, oh my God. Nurse is there to change the dressing on the foot.
Oh, the dress.
Bad foot.
So the guy says, what can I do for you? I said, I was, I'm trying to ignore whatever's going on. And I'm like, I just trying to, looking for turkey permissions. You know what? I pulled the son card. I'm like, I'm looking for a spot. I got my son with me. He's out in the truck. And, just trying to see if we can get permission to hunt here. I haven't seen a turkey out here in probably 10 years. Now I re-rack focus from the foot to the face to the picture window behind him. And Megatom is in the same frame. He is standing like 100 yards out the picture window, just strutting like this in the background.
Drumming.
I'm like, you sure about that? He's like, there's no turkeys around here anymore. He's like, I'd know if there was. And I'm like, well, he's like, I'd know because I'm confined to this damn chair. And now I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get the story.
You're going to get it.
Dressings.
So I don't have time to interject and say, like, Megatom is right behind you. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, so, well, and he's just, he's like, probably wondering what the hell's going on here. I'm like, kind of.
Oh, there's something going on with your gangrene foot?
Kind of. And he's like, and he actually says, he's like, I got the gangrene. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. He's like, yeah, this here's my nurse. She comes to the house. She comes, whatever, like once every other day or something. And she comes here to change out my dressings. And I'm like, so that's what she's doing. He's like, yeah. Probably wondering how the hell I got the gangrene. I'm like, listen, let's just get into it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, how'd you get the green? He's like, well,
The green.
he's like, I got that damn dog running around here. You see that little dog? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, that dog ate a roofing nail. And then that dog took a shit in the living room floor. And I was walking through with my bare feet, and I stepped on the shit, and inside the shit was a roofing nail, and it went into my foot, and now I got the gangrene.
It's like a Tommy Miranda story.
I'm sitting there going, what? First of all, in my mind, I'm going, oh my God, I wish the deacon was here.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had a witness for this, because this is actually happening right now. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And so I'm like trying my hardest not to laugh. The nurses, you could tell, she's like, oh, this has got to be so awkward.
Yeah.
And so finally I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's pretty unfortunate. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's pretty bad. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to let you hunt. There's no birds around here. And I so badly wanted to say there's one right there behind. If you just turn around right now.
Yeah, you'll see
But
it.
He had this going, and she's sticking needles and scrubbing. And I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Had to stink. Had to stink
Had the
in there.
gangrene stink to it. I'm like, this is brutal.
God bless that nurse.
So I got to get out. And so I go back and I get out and I'm walking. And you guys have been there.
Oh, yeah.
When you see the asker walking back, you got to read. You got to read the
read
visual.
the face. Yeah.
You're like, all right, where are we at on this? Like
Yes
maybe
or no?
sometimes
You
you
know.
get like one of these guys, little fist pump on the way.
Yep.
I'm walking back, and I mean, my eyes got to be this big. I open the door, and Fillmore's like, "Did you get permission?" I said, "No." He's like, "What happened?" And I said, "Well, the guy fucking stepped in dog shit that had a roofing nail in it, and he's got gangrene, and there's a nurse in there." And I lay it on him real quick.
Everything.
I lay it all out, and I get it all out there, and he goes, "So what's the problem? Why didn't you get permission?" I'm like,
he's relentless.
Yeah, I'm like,
he's the leader in permissions.
I said, "We got to get out of here." He's like, "Let me go." I'm like, "I'm not letting you go in. We got to get out of here."
Yeah.
So there was a lot more that went on inside the house, but that's a condensed
My
version.
God, man, it's unreal. So if we talk to you and you screw up, if you have a wee bit of the puff,
Yep.
if you have a nervous tick about in the when you're talking about in the process,
Yep.
or if you've got gangrene, we're going to talk about you.
You're going to end up.
We're gonna exploit you. Like, let's be honest.
We're gonna exploit you.
Zero. Like, we're just gonna exploit you. It's over, and then you're gonna become a joke for us for the rest of the entire time that we hunt.
You will end up here.
That is gonna happen because we've had permissions. We had the basement monster.
We'll have Woody talk about the basement monster.
We had.
I got another one.
Yeah,
Dorothy.
Yep.
I know this is bad. Yeah, this one's okay. So when you ask permission, you got limited. You're going on limited info.
You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go with like whatever you could get out of like a county, or you're going off of like Onyx or something like that. You pull up Onyx, landowner name, cool. I rap on the door, and Lila was her name actually. Dorothy's the one that answered.
Yeah.
I open the door or knock on the door, and this old lady opens the door, and she's like, "Hello," and I'm like, "Hi." I said, "Is Lila here?" "Lila's dead." I'm like, "Oh, that's going to be a no."
That sucks.
That's a hard no.
That's tough sledding.
Long story short, I helped him change a filter in the furnace and got permission, and we left.
Yeah.
So Lila was unfortunately no longer here, but I mean, you just never know what you're getting into.
You never know, and that's part of the fun. That's part of the adventure, and you get to meet a lot of good people too.
Fillmore stepped on a lady's oxygen hose.
I did that too.
Stood on it.
I did that
for an
too.
extended period of time until there was a one of those numbers,
and then realizing you're like, "Oh,
whoops."
Yep. Yeah. I remember that. Last year I went to that place over up by your place, and I got permission from that guy up there, and I went in, and it couldn't have been less than 135 degrees. He had a wood burner going in there. It was an old man, and I went in there, and I mean, I was sweating. I came out, and I was with Mike, and Mike's like, "How'd it go?" And he's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I am burning up." I'm like, his house is 130 degrees in there. And he was just chilling in a rocking chair like, and he was great. He gave us permission. We got it. And I had to talk to him about all kinds of, because once they give you permission, you got to be solid. Because they're giving you permission. So you got to, again, it's like you got to change a filter. Great. What do you need? You need help with something? You want me to stack some wood for you? What do you want to do? Like, I'm all about that. But I was burning up. I was sweating. I came out. He's like, "What happened?" He's like, "You look like you worked out in there." I'm like, "I just stood there in a sauna for 25 minutes talking to this man," and he was super nice. He's like, "Go get him, man." I'm like, "Great."
I watched 3 innings of a Tigers game with this 80-year-old man, and it was in his underwear, his tidy whities.
Here's the thing,
full on answered the door into
care.
Gutchies, and he's just standing there. I mean, full outline, everything.
Just
I'm
him
like,
and his
terrible.
Him and his wrench just
like,
answered the door.
"What can I do for you?" I'm like, "Well, you got a lot of ground." He's like, so turkey, come on in. I'm like, this is about to get weirder.
Oh, boy.
Like, am I going into a red rubber ball in a big wheel situation, or like, what am I getting into?
Where are we at here?
So I go in, and he's like, "Tigers are on." He sits down. He's like, "Grab a seat." I'm like, "Fucking, you're in your underwear, man." Like, he is full tidy whitey.
Pay the bills, feed some hogs. I got people in the car. I got to go. But
we got through 3 quick innings, and I had permission. And
there's no quick in baseball.
That
was 40 minutes.
It was, but it was wildly awkward. But I mean, after the first 8 minutes, the whole "you're in your underwear" thing,
you're
just
like,
kind of,
let's see where this goes.
It kind of goes away.
Yeah,
it's interesting, man. Like, a lot of the people that have the property, they're older, and they welcome conversation because a lot of them are alone, man. Like, and you realize that going into it. So you go in there open-minded. Sometimes you have some disasters that you walk into, but it was
it's only a disaster if you come away without permission.
Without permission, that's the biggest disaster.
I'll smell the gangrene, and I'll have if you get permission.
But then when you do, like, I will visit those, like, so when I come back, I always knock in and be like, hey, it's me. I'm just checking in on you. And a lot of times, like you said, they're like, well, how'd it go? Or, you know, we'll shoot. And then I heard you back there the other morning. It's like, yeah, we shot 5. But, you know, we're like, don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow.
But it's
they're great.
The conversation, when you feel it going in a positive direction, everything's funny.
Yeah.
Everything's exciting. You're into it. Yeah. And then when it starts going downhill in the beginning, you're like, this ain't going to work. It's like, you're pretty short with it.
Yeah.
But I was getting my tires rotated at Bell Tire the other day, talking about people who want to talk. I put the Masters on. I grabbed the remote, put the Masters on, and I'm just watching the Masters. And a guy across the room, he's in his 80s, says, you like the Masters, do you? We start talking.
Yeah.
And it turns out he lives by out south of town. He's a retired Dow exec. He was a traveling musician, one of the most famous musicians in the country when he was working for Dow. You ever see the trick where you rip the newspaper up and then it's back together? Yeah. Like, that was his trick. He did that trick. And he says...
Is that in your Instagram feed?
Yeah. It's trick. He's trick. Yeah. And then he says, you ever hear of Nate Bargatze? I'm like, yeah. He's like, his dad's my best friend. Like, he's my best friend. I've known Nate since he's been a little kid, and he talks about him, you know, in Vegas and all sorts of things. And it's just one of those guys you never know. We talked about building canoes and everything. Like, it was, but he was a great guy to talk to. He was a guy in our town who was a traveling musician, magician. So you never know who you're going to run into.
We got one property that we call Whiskers specifically because of the lady we get permission from.
Yeah, she got them.
That one I took Ryder to, and Ryder and I were looking for a spot for him, and I found there's a farm we tripled actually right next to it on one of the farms, and I'm like, man, that block of timber. So I tracked it down. I'm like, I gotta figure this out. We pulled up. I went and knocked on the front door, and she opened the door. And her beard was bigger than mine. Yeah, and she's probably
got a little shadow.
Yeah, she's probably in her 90s, and I mean, it was something else. So we start talking. Tells me all about her husband and when he used to. He's not alive anymore, but he used to hunt there and where the deer blinds are, and I could just have run of the mill, and it was whatever we wanted to do was okay. And you know, I said Ryder gave the old out the window, the old hey, hello, you know, the whole poor Timmy thing.
Yeah, so. Show him your wooden leg, Ryder.
Yeah, I mean, personally, show him your wooden leg, right? Tiny Tim.
We're never getting permissions in this county again.
No, here's where I was going with this. Part of what I love the most is that conversation.
Yes, it is.
Right? Because you just get to go talk to these people. Yes. And I mean, everybody's scared you're going to get you run into the occasional asshole, but for the most part, man, people are like, they just want to talk.
They just want to talk.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. It's one of my favorite times of year.
And now, deer hunting, you can't ever get permission. But turkey, it's still relatively new in the state. Yeah. You know, I think there's more and more every year you see that are involved in turkey hunting, but still, you can hunt properties in Michigan in our area that have never been turkey hunting before.
I just like how everybody that we ask permissions for is over the age of 80 and talks like the guy from Legends of the Fall. Yeah. Because everything, we're like,
chalkboard.
You just like, everybody, come on in, boy. It's like, I don't even actually know an old person that talks like that, but we're, come on in, let me tell you a story. Yeah. And, you know, so that's funny. Everybody does. But hey, they got good ground. They got good ground.
There you go. So if anybody else out there has any wild and crazy turkey permission stories, send them in.
We want to hear it.
Because they're some of my favorites. We usually rehash every year. We get new ones, and we rehash them at the 989. So, what do you guys? What's on the menu this year for the 989? We had alligator bites one year.
Yeah, we did. I don't know what's on the menu. We got to get Deacon involved. I know he's got a baseball tournament this weekend. We talked about tomorrow, actually. Having the permissions party tomorrow night sometime.
Yeah, I can't do tomorrow.
Yeah, it's busy.
I know everyone's busy.
That's the thing now, man. Everybody's got, you know, as we got older, kids and sports, and it's coming up on the end of school year, and it's tougher and tougher. But I know where we will meet. We will meet in the morning, and we will be ready to rock and roll and go do some turkey hunting the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be amazing.
Get the prayer. Malecki gives the old prayer to kick us off.
Yeah,
Malecki,
I love it.
The Reverend,
I absolutely love it.
Father Malecki.
All right, let's take a piss and come right back.
Okay.
For some of us, the hunt never stops. Grizzly understands that more than most. Rugged, reliable, and built to never back down. Whether you're on the trail, by the water, or deep in the dark timber, Grizzly is by your side. tough enough to take on the wild and ready for whatever you can throw. Grizzly is committed to products that never let you down. Always on the hunt with Grizzly.
Out here in the wild, precision isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Leupold Optics is built on the foundation of American craftsmanship, where every features function first. For over a century now, they've combined dedication and technology with a relentless put-it-to-the-test attitude, creating optics that stand up when everything else stands down. When it matters most, you need the best. That's what you get with Leupold Optics. While other companies out there warranty failure, Leupold guarantees performance for life.
Some call it out on the trail. I like to call it the road less traveled. The kind of place where the going gets tough. That's where Tracker Off-Road comes in. Made for those who won't back down. Tracker Off-Road delivers the hardest working machines with the greatest capability at the strongest value in the industry. Built by those who know what it takes and designed for those who don't turn back. Tracker is dedicated to delivering machines that let you get the most out of your day and your dollar. Ready to take on your next adventure? Go with Tracker Off-Road.
Every shot counts. And when it's time to make it count, you want the best. Winchester Ammunition has built its legacy on a commitment to innovation by continuously pushing what's possible. In the heartland of America, the American legend crafts ammunition that's purpose-built, reliable, accurate, and ready to perform no matter how harsh the conditions. Whether you're hunting or shooting for sport, Winchester will be there.
Okay, I got one more thing I want to touch on in this episode. Have you guys Game of Thrones fans?
Yes.
I know you're kind of.
I'm in and out.
Every episode.
you.
Ever.
You guys
Every season.
are wild. You've
Every
read all the
episode.
books. I
Yeah.
know.
So
Casey.
yes, so one of the most memorable things on the Game of Thrones
You
side.
read one on Dropped, actually.
I did. Yep, I did. I think Storm of Swords. One of the most memorable things in all of Game of Thrones is this thing called a direwolf.
Scary.
Have you guys seen what's going on with the direwolf right now?
It's back.
It's
They
back.
brought it back.
After 10,000 years, extinct entirely.
You're talking a real.
Yes.
Like a
This is a
giant.
DNA extraction
Yes.
thing?
Jurassic Park shit.
They are
Why do we want it?
actually unextincting the direwolf.
Is that a
and
word?
Yes, that's literally. There's a name for it. I'm gonna look it up. Somebody look it up. I think it's called
Unextincting.
Unextincting or some shit like that.
Pull up-
This is where we're at. This is where we're at in the world, boys.
Pull up a direwolf if we can.
What's the opposite of extinct?
image of a direwolf?
Stinked.
De-extinction.
De-extinct. There we go.
It's a de-extinction project,
All right, there.
and
it is.
they actually have 3 direwolves that they've brought back.
The Game of Thrones direwolves returns de-extinction
Yeah.
breakthrough.
That's a direwolf?
Yeah.
I
Well, I
expected
mean,
it
that's
to
a
be
pup.
much scarier than that.
That's
no,
a
no,
pup.
that's a pup.
That's a
Direwolves
pup.
are like giant.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
They're like 200, right there in the middle. That thing's huge.
And so this is where this giant concern comes in. Obviously, this de-extinction project is happening. They've done it. They've got video of the pups. Like they've got images. They've got them howling and like.
Wow.
Think about this: the first howl of a direwolf in over 10,000 years,
That's
It's
nuts.
unreal.
and it's back and it's alive. I mean, You guys know me in history. I'm fascinated by this shit.
Yeah.
But you also wonder, like, okay, where does it go now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they've got direwolves, they've been able to do this, they've proven that they can do it. Are they going to release these things into the wild? Because you start to think about what happens. Like we all know what coyotes do and damage. We all know what like gray wolves can do, timber wolves can do.
Yep.
What's an animal that was designed to kill massive animals 10,000 years ago?
Yeah.
Do when you drop it on the landscape now?
Yeah.
I mean, if the elk and stuff can't even handle gray
Regular
wolves, what the hell is it going to do when you got dire wolves that need twice as much food and are twice the size?
Yeah.
So I have a question. This might be dumb, but how did they
Sure it will be.
create this direwolf pup? Did they impregnate a current wolf to carry, like surrogate carry it?
They would have. I mean, I haven't gone that deep into actually the how yet. It's like Colossus. I forget the name of the project is.
But it's actual DNA.
Yes.
It's an actual dire wolf.
It had to be a surrogate
It was
carrier.
a surrogate carrier, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would imagine they would have done.
Yeah.
Is you marry everything together and then implant it into a surrogate. And
So I was reading a little bit about that's actually, I'm glad you brought it up because I was reading a little bit about it. There's actually the next phase they're thinking, and the next thing they want to do is a woolly mammoth.
Yeah, they want to try
That's
with
the
woolly.
next thing is like
that's
we're
cool.
going to bring back woolly mammoth.
I'd like to see a woolly.
There's benefits to a woolly mammoth apparently. Like even when they put them in like desert ground and they can they can shit and they can do all the stuff to fertilize the ground
Yeah.
and all this other. So they're like, we might just bring back woolly mammoths.
or mammoth meat. You
Yeah.
imagine having mammoth meat?
Yeah, I don't know.
I do know muskox is some of the greatest meat I've ever had, and like to me, like a mammoth muskox, same
be
kind of
yeah.
same
Yeah.
environment that
They're both hairy.
Yeah, maybe you
That's
do
what it
that.
is. A dire wolf is insane.
I think
Yeah.
I mean,
insane.
on one hand, it scares the ever living shit out of me that we
Right.
can do this.
Well, we've got AI. Now we're creating dire wolves from nothing.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I'm like, man, what does that mean though? Like,
Yeah.
what do? You just keep them in captivity?
Yeah.
Because these animals, when they roamed the wild,
Yeah.
like, wasn't like it is now.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking 10,000 years ago, 12,000, 15,000 years ago. Like, the landscape was, everything was different.
Yeah.
You're talking megaflora, megafauna, like shit that just, I mean, it's
Yeah.
fascinating to think about. So,
Well, let's say you could get a dire wolf. Let's say you could buy one. I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't want to
At
live?
Jay's Sporting Goods
like,
parking lot.
Like in a
Has 'em.
parking lot on a Saturday.
Jay's has them.
AKC registered
Yeah.
dire wolf.
AKC registered. I'm buying one.
I'm getting one.
And then I'm going to stand in front of it with a sword like Jon Snow just in the mirror
Okay.
just on Saturdays. Just like, what is this? Like, I'm
So-
going to get into it.
so funny you
Because
said
Jon
that.
Snow is the man.
My thought was reading this, I'm like, what would I do if I imagine I'm on the side of the mountain, I'm glassing for moose.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like a dire wolf comes out.
Yeah.
And I had this vision of like standing there with the sword,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
watching the dire wolf or face to face with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's what it would be like.
Yeah. It's,
But then it turns into like real Jurassic shit where, you're Chris Pratt with the clicker and you got velociraptors on your property
Yeah.
and you're clicking because you're able to bring them back and blues running around and things. I mean, how far do they take it? You know what I mean? It's just going to be insane. But I think it's amazing. I don't like that, to your point, you bring up a great point, is you can't really release them in the wild. So I don't like that they have to stay captive.
Yeah.
But the
What's the
fact that
point?
we were able to bring back an actual dire wolf just because they're so amazing, just the animal itself is pretty unbelievable.
I mean, it's the long lost giant canine. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's
the
pretty
biggest of the
unbelievable.
big.
Yeah.
Velociraptors. They're cool.
Yeah.
It's wild times, boys. Wild times.
Wild times.
That's where we're at.
Recreation.
I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that. The other thing I would say is if they do release it in the wild, do you get a tag?
Well, if they're de-extinct,
I mean, they
I
could
would
bring 'em back.
imagine if it's like the conservation of the wild turkey, you get your Rob Keck in there,
Yeah.
grow the population.
Putting them all
Or
over.
you shoot one and replace it because you can make them
They
again.
can make them.
So maybe.
I don't know.
But why would you?
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
It's insane.
I wouldn't. I would just admire it and try to tame it and stand in front of my fucking mirror
With a
with a
sword.
sword every Saturday with
you go.
come on, buddy.
Yeah.
I'd name it like Tundra or something cool like that. and
Tundra.
Just be like, come on, let's make it happen. So
Well, that's the dire wolf. It remains to be seen where this shit goes, but that's what's happening.
yeah.
Read that name of that box call.
Brown's wild turkey calls.
Browns
Browns, huh?
wild turkey calls. NWTF this year. You know me.
Yeah.
I'm cruising around. I try to find the best box call every year. It's the little bitty, and this is smaller, even more
Yeah.
than.
That's real small.
It's real small. It's just a little bigger than my hand, which is very small.
yeah.
CeeLo Green
But
sized.
if you hear it,
If you didn't
you
know,
hear
CeeLo
it,
Green
Hide
has
a mini
really
water
t-
bottle.
she's not small in sound. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That sounds good.
sounds good, right?
Yeah.
It's super small. It's literally the size of a king Snickers.
Odd thing to compare it to.
Hell, maybe a Snickers. To be honest with you, it's smaller than a king
But I
Snickers.
guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is
what
it
would you
called
think it
the
is?
little biddle?
Size of
Is
a
it
The little
Snickers.
bitty,
Oh, little bitty.
little bitty.
Hungry? Why wait?
So I didn't even realize the guys.
King
It was a
Snickers. That's what they should have named it.
They should have named it.
Brown's Custom Calls, the King Snickers.
didn't know it was Browns when I just ran. I was just running a bunch of calls and I ran this little guy.
That's nice.
I'm like, dang, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I looked up, it said Brown's Custom Turkey Calls. I'm
funny.
like, yeah, it was meant to be.
Oh, man.
Meant
Did
to
you
be.
get a hat?
No, he didn't have any apparel. No, I didn't have any apparel.
Well, let's put it to use this week.
Yes, let's do it.
Turkey season is upon us, boys. By the time we sit down for next week's episode, we will hopefully have clobbered a few of them.
Stories from the field.
And who knows, maybe have a good gangrene story or two.
Yep. We're going to exploit someone next week. It's happening.
Exploitations.
That's a wrap.
Mama say it's a new day song.